Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from Midtown Manhattan, New York City. Benedoyo back in Memphis, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you get through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't think last night would be a get-right game for the Philadelphia 76ers that they held that team meeting, because it was not a get-right game for the Sixers. It was a get-right game for the Grizzlies. Another win inside FedEx Forum. Taylor Jenkins becomes the winningest coach in franchise history. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes, Mike Wallace is going to join me. He's going to be in studio in downtown Memphis after the Grizzlies defeated the Sixers last night. Mike Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media, is going to join me here. We'll do it in about 20 minutes. When I finish talking to Mike, we're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we will discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Penny Hardaway's Tigers. They're going to return to the court tonight. Big game at San Francisco. We'll get you ready for it. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. Speaking of San Francisco, bad news out of the Bay Area for our old friend DeAnthony Melton. It's a torn ACL. He's done for the year. Tell you more about that a little later on in the show. Jason Statham, through sources, has disclosed what he thought when he heard Kristin Cavalari call him her hottest secret hookup. I'll tell you what he said. We'll do that in just a bit. Caitlin Clark has made it clear she's going to pass on the opportunity to join that new 3-on-3 women's basketball league. Sensible decision, I think. I'll tell you why in the second hour. And LeBron James has said he's quitting social media for the indefinite future. He's tired of the negativity and the nastiness. I understand. I get it. I'll tell you what the King said. We'll do it during a segment. We call 5 more things you need to know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout, and we'll call today. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies, because Game 16 of a scheduled 82 was played last night. They did it inside FedEx Forum. It went better than Game 15. Final score, Grizz 117, Sixers 111. The Grizz were missing John Morant, Marcus Smart, Vince Williams, Zach Edey. In other words, the Grizz were missing their opening night starting point guard, starting center, and their two best wings. Not ideal. That's why they were underdogs at home to a team that's really been struggling, but the Grizzlies prevailed anyway, largely because they shot 44.2% from three-point range after a rough outing in the previous game from beyond the arc. You might remember against Denver on Monday, the Grizz were 9 of 38 from three. That's only 23.7%. Lost that game by 12. Against Philadelphia, much better last night. Grizz were 19 of 43 from beyond the arc. That translates to 44.2%. They won that game by 6. So against the Sixers, they took 5 more three-pointers, made 10 more in the game, and got it from everywhere. Desmond Bane was 5 of 11 from 3. Luke Kennard, he was 3 of 5. Jaren Jackson, Jalen Wells, Scottie Pippen Jr., Santi Aldama, and Jay Huff all made 2 each. It's a fun game, Big Bet Bennett. Congrats to Taylor Jenkins on becoming the franchise's all-time winningest coach. I streamed it from a hotel room here in New York City on League Pass. But you, Big Bet Bennett, were inside FedEx Forum. You saw it in person. The Sixers did not have the get-right game you feared they might have. They're a real mess, aren't they?
Oh, dude. Yeah, they are. So, I'm sorry. We're having some lighting issues this morning, so I apologize if it looks like I'm sitting in the dark.
Yeah, well, when you get the lighting issues figured out, then try to get my own voice out of my ear.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to do that. Sorry. I don't know how to make that happen for you, man.
Well, this will be a fun next 2 hours.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, this will be great. No, I mean, they're a disaster. That was, again, like you said, really cool to see that happen for Taylor Jenkins last night. Apparently, they had a big celebration in the locker room afterwards. He talked about it in the postgame. And it was also it wasn't a get-right game for the Philadelphia 76ers. It was a get-right game for Desmond Bane because he had been struggling since he returned, and it was just awesome to see him look like his old self last night. He even kind of alluded to in the postgame, in his postgame availability in the last game that he's not worried. This happens every year. It takes some time to get right and get in the flow of things, and obviously he's coming back from injury. So it was good to see him have that game last night. He had a pull-up 3 that was well beyond the arc at one point in the game, and not a lot of guys in this league are taking that shot. He is comfortable taking it and confident in taking it, and that's when I kind of knew, okay, he's feeling it again. It appears he's back, which was good to see.
I'm never going to worry about Desmond Bane unless it's something injury-related, like he's hampered because of this or that. But if he's healthy and missing shots, I just assume that's going to work itself out. This guy's been an established shooter, dating back to college. The reason he was selected where he was selected by the Grizzlies is because of his ability to shoot. The reason he was available where the Grizzlies selected him is because people wondered, okay, what else could he do besides shoot? Obviously, in the NBA, he's proved there's much more to his game than just shooting. But the biggest attribute he brings to any basketball game is going to be his ability to shoot. And I will, quite literally, until age becomes an issue with him, and we're a ways away from that, unless he's hampered, bothered by something, that falls under the umbrella of injuries, he can go 1 of 10 from 3, and I'd be comfortable with him taking 10 threes the next game. He's a gifted, uniquely talented shooter. I was never concerned with him missing shots. But like you said, it's nice to see him make them because here's the truth. He can afford to have bad games sometimes when the Grizzlies are at full strength because, Ja Morant can pick up that slack, or Vince Williams can pick up that slack, or Marcus Smart can pick up that slack, or Zach Edey can pick up that slack. But when they are as shorthanded as they are right now, you need Desmond Bane's subpar performances to be as few and far between as they can be. So, yeah, I agree. It was nice to see him get back on track last night. All 3 of Philly's stars played. Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. That's why Philadelphia, despite entering with just 2 wins, was a favorite on the road, and yet the Grizzlies still controlled things mostly from start to finish. Embiid didn't look great. If you just had the volume down and never looked at the box score, just moving around, he didn't look great, but he did produce. He took 21 shots, made 10 of them, finished with 36 points, 11 rebounds. He was 14 of 14 from the free throw line, so a lot of his work came there. Maxey and George were both bad. Tyrese Maxey, 3 of 13 from the field. He was 0 of 6 from 3. He had 8 points, only played 20 minutes. Paul George, 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3. Only had 2 points in 17 minutes. He's obviously still on a minutes restriction coming back from injury, but not not great. And then there's now another report on top of the previous report about turmoil in Philadelphia.
Well, you knew this was coming.
Oh, so we
You said that you thought Joel Embiid was going to react this way, and he did. Yes.
Well,
to the report.
So, well, what I'm talking about specifically is on Monday we get the Shams Charania report that there was a team meeting in Philadelphia, or on Tuesday rather, we get the report that there was a team meeting in Philadelphia, and that Tyrese Maxey actually called out Joel Embiid and said, "Yo, man, you got to be better." And I don't mean between the lines. I mean, you got to show up on time. You got to be a leader. You got to lead by example. And as we talked about yesterday, if I'm Joel Embiid, don't mind being held accountable. I don't think any great leader or reasonable person should be offended by somebody, in this case a coworker, and in this case a co-star, holding you accountable. Great people should hold other great people accountable. Teammates should hold teammates accountable. I don't think that's a real problem as much as it got out so quickly. And so as me, you, and Vernon talked about yesterday, if I'm Joel Embiid, I'm sitting around going, okay, I don't mind Tyrese saying what he said. That's my teammate. That's my brother. That's my friend. And if we're ever going to accomplish anything that matters here, he and I are going to have to be on the same page. So maybe this is a step in that right direction. But I'm trying to figure out who in this locker room wanted this to be the lead headline at ESPN.com within a few hours of us meeting, because all that is done to do is designed to make me look like not great. So who in this locker room that I consider a brother and a teammate talked, opened a mouth, got on text message, and made this a huge national story? I thought we were having a team meeting behind closed doors and we were just going to handle our stuff in this room. But now I'm going to have to address it to the world because Stephen A. Smith's talking about it on television, and in every market in America, they're talking about it. That was one issue. And then last night, early today, another report emerges from another reputable NBA source that says Joel Embiid never wanted Paul George as his teammate. He instead wanted Jimmy Butler. The Sixers passed on going out and trying to get Jimmy Butler, instead got Paul George, and it was always never the preferred path that Joel Embiid wanted the franchise to take. Let's stop here for a second. Do you believe that, Bennett? Do you believe that Joel Embiid did not want Paul George on his team?
It's like when you say the Jimmy Butler thing, that actually leads me to believe that that's true, just because I think it's known that he was not happy when they moved on from him once upon a time. But I think Joel Embiid liked being teammates with Jimmy Butler. So I could buy that, yeah.
I could buy it. I think it's possible he would prefer Jimmy Butler to Paul George. But I do remember...
wouldn't you rather have Jimmy Butler than Paul George right now? Yes.
I think that's debatable. I think reasonable people think that.
I don't. Paul George, even I know that he's dealing with like the injuries and stuff. He does not look like the same. I mean, he's old. He's been in the league for a long time. I don't think it's the Paul George we all remember, the all-star level Paul George anymore. That's just where I'm at.
Well, he was as recently as last season, and if he's not, Philadelphia is in bad trouble because they gave him a lot of money. Guarantees. So as always, we'll see. That's not the point. The point would be whether it's true or not, whether Joel Embiid would have preferred Jimmy Butler to Paul George or not. And the point I was going to make is it was at some point during the playoffs. I remember ESPN or ABC had a set on site, so it might have been the NBA Finals. But Paul George and Joel Embiid were on that set together, and you could probably find this anywhere. But Joel Embiid's talking about the future, and like if we can go out and add a good piece, and he does something like sort of points his head at Paul George in a way that everybody picked up on. Like he was more or less saying if we could go out and get somebody like this guy. And that makes me think he didn't mind Paul George or was against Paul George coming to Philadelphia, or else that moment probably doesn't exist. But I guess it is possible that he would have preferred Jimmy Butler to Paul George. Either way, here's the point. That's not good for your locker room either.
No.
Because on one day you got Joel Embiid wondering, all right, who in this locker room went and talked to Shams to get this story turned into national headlines? One day later, you got Paul George probably going, so did Joel really not even want me here? Like, was I really his second pick? The way he said it to me was like, man, there ain't nobody in the world he'd rather play with. And now I'm reading a report that says actually he wanted Jimmy Butler and didn't want me. Like, is that real or is that not real? And at some point, it doesn't matter what's real and what's real. Like, your head can play games with you. And that's a real thing that I mean, I'm not saying they can't work past it, but when there's this much like little gossipy stuff all out there about your workplace, that's rough. Like, let's put it in real people terms. What if there was a report today, and there wouldn't be because nobody cares. We're not important, but just play along. You'll get the point. What if there was, what if the Gary Parrish show, we were struggling? Like, right, Bennett, me and you we came over here and everybody thought we could do something, but we ain't doing it. And it's been an adjustment that has been awkward. And there's one report one day that suggests maybe I haven't been showing up to the studio on time or prepping the right way or doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And so you and I and everybody here sort of dealing with that. And people behind our backs are whispering about that. And then like 24 hours later, a report. Oh, and by the way, that all gets out. Like that there's something happened between me and you in front of, Jessica and CJ and Rosa and Vernon. And within an hour, they were writing about it at MemphisFlyer.com. And I'm like, who? And it makes me look bad. It makes me look like the jerk. It makes me look like I'm not doing my job. I'm going, okay, there were only 8 people in this room who saw that. Who is it that wanted to get this at MemphisFlyer.com? Which one of my coworkers wanted this story at MemphisFlyer.com to make me look bad so quickly? I'm dealing with that. And then 24 hours later, there's another story. According to sources, Gary Parrish never really even wanted Bennett Doyle to be the producer. He tried to hire Brad Carson. Brad couldn't move for whatever reasons, so they settled for Bennett Doyle. Now I got to walk in and sit face to face with you for the next 90 minutes to 2 hours. None of that's fun.
Sounds
rough,
like
right?
you're projecting here.
Oh no, you were my first choice.
Sounds
Bennett,
like you might be getting out in front of something here.
Bennett, you're my Jimmy Butler.
Okay, good. That's how I want to be known.
But would that hurt you? What if you found out behind the scenes, the whole time I'm telling you, Bennett, I'm doing everything I can. I'm going to bring you over, baby. Don't worry about it. Just stay calm. You're my guy. You're the person I want to work with. I'm telling you that the whole time. And then after things aren't going so well, a story comes out. Sources close to Grind City Media say that Gary Parrish never really wanted Bennett Doyle. Instead, he wanted Brad Carson, but they couldn't get that done. And actually, when they could get that done, he kind of was looking at Connor Dunning, but that wouldn't work. Yeah. And then, he just went ahead and brought old Bennett Doyle over, and now it's not going well. Would you like that? Nobody would like that.
No, that would hurt.
It would hurt. You're hurt.
Yeah,
you would be hurt. Okay, so that's what the Sixers are going through right now. And that's a lot of stuff to be going through. It's one thing when you're just bad on the court, but when you got bad locker room stuff too, it's a lot to work through. They're 2-12 now, 10 games under 500. And yet still not out of it. I had to remind myself of this morning. Last season, do you know how many games under 500 the 10 seed was in the Eastern Conference? I'll give you a hint. It was the Atlanta Hawks.
How many through this many games?
No. Atlanta Hawks got into the play-in last year.
Oh, and how many games below 500? Okay, I got it.
Or you can just tell me the record, whichever is easier for you.
I'm going to say that they were 7 games below 500. That's a lot.
They were 10 games. Yeah,
damn.
They were 10. The Atlanta Hawks were 36-46 last season and still got to the postseason. They were the 10th seed. They were in the play-in. And you ready for this? 17 games under 500 would have still been good enough to get the 10th seed in the East because Brooklyn was in 11th place and finished 32-50, 18 games under. So Atlanta could have actually finished 17 games under 500 last season and still made the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. So Philadelphia 2-12, it sounds bad, and it is bad, but they've still got a little bit of wiggle room to actually be eliminated from reasonable playoff contention. I don't know that they're going to be able to crawl out of this hole. Certainly the way they're playing and seemingly getting along right now is doesn't suggest good things, but just remember this. Anytime you start thinking the Bucks are out of it or the Sixers are out of it, 17 games under 500 would have been good enough to be the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference last season. Let's get back to the Grizz before we get to Mike Wallace. Congratulations, in addition to Taylor Jenkins on becoming the winningest coach in franchise history. Congratulations to Cam Spencer for making his NBA debut. That's always a big deal. 6'4" guard from UConn, back-to-back national champ. He had been sidelined even before media day with that bad ankle rehab. Came off the bench last night, played 9 minutes, still looking for his first career points, but it's always cool, I gather, for somebody to step on an NBA court in a regular season game for the first time, and I was glad to see Cam get that opportunity last night. Perhaps his first career points, they could come Saturday in Chicago. Either way, Grizz are now 9-7. That's tied for 7 in the Western Conference standings with the Phoenix Suns. Next up, again, Saturday's game at Chicago. Then it's 4 straight home games against Portland, Detroit, New Orleans, and Indiana. In the meantime, we wait for an official update on Vince Williams. He left Monday's game, of course, with a ankle injury. Didn't play last night. Still waiting on @Grizzlies PR to relay an update. But I will ask Mike Wallace what he's hearing. We'll do that next. This is the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
We didn't talk about owling, and you're telling me you didn't know owling?
What the hell is an owling?
Owling is worse than Tebowing.
What is an
How
owling?
far can Kyra zoom out on this camera?
She can zoom all the way out.
Can
Are
she
you gonna
zoom
hit us with
out?
that? What are you doing?
I'm owling.
Okay. Wait, why were we doing this? What is that?
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Ben Doyle back in Memphis inside the Built Ford Tough studio. And on Thursdays in the second segment, I am joined by senior editor, Grind City Media. He's the best promo guy we got. It's the great Mike Wallace on X at my Mike Tech. Mike Wallace is GP. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for that introduction, brother. I appreciate it. Appreciate it for sure.
I appreciate you being here, sitting in that chair. Before we get to the Grizzlies, let's start with the Sixers. You've been around this league for a long time. You've covered a lot of interesting situations. But, buddy, when you're 2-12, there's a report one day that Tyrese Maxey is calling out Joel Embiid for being tardy too much. A report the next day that says Joel Embiid never even really wanted Paul George as a teammate. He wanted Jimmy Butler instead. That's a lot of stuff to work through, isn't it?
Yeah, that is, especially when you're going through it the way you're going through it, and guys are already upset because of injuries. They're sensitive. things just aren't going well. This was a team that was supposed to be reloading for a championship run at Boston. And now we're seeing Cleveland take the step ahead. Obviously you're seeing New York take a big step ahead. And then Philly is headed to the lottery. Joel Embiid got there based on the process. And now it's going back to that way again. And it's a lot of controversy going on around there, man. But I tell you what, I heard you guys talk in the last segment, sort of about how, these things can fester and then divide a locker room and divide a workplace. And you're absolutely right, man. I mean, I've had a Deadspin article written about me when I left ESPN to come here, to the Memphis Grizzlies, man. And then Fizdale got mentioned in it and all the other kind of stuff. So I've been there, done that, man. It's all, you just read it, get through it, and then move on from it.
There was one a long time ago about CBS Sports, and it had a bunch of, sources that work inside CBS Sports, and it was a lot of sources said this and sources said that. Yeah. And I promise you, everybody in the building is like, all right, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? It can create real issues behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. And some of it is true, but the thing about it is that 10% of it can be true, 90% is just straight fabrication, but it's believable enough for you to have to defend some things to certain people, right? So, you really find out who's in your corner and who can look at you in the face and who's legitimate and who isn't, man. You learn a lot about people through adversity for sure.
Let's focus on the Grizzlies. They're now 9-7 after last night's win. Mm-hmm. Still dealing with injury stuff. Ja Morant had tweeted in response to a tweet from Anthony Sain earlier in the week that he expected to be able to provide a good update soon. What's the latest on Ja Morant?
Yeah. I mean, Ja Morant is moving around. He's getting on the process of being ramped up pretty soon. They went through the reevaluations, the medical updates and everything this week. He had already started moving around and doing some stationary stuff off the crutches, off the motorized scooter over the last week. And, he says it's going to be sooner than what people expect. I tend to believe him. You know what I mean? I think he'll probably need maybe another week to ramp up. And then the week after that, getting into December, I would think Ja Morant, that's the timeline that he's looking at. So I'm thinking, the start of December, we should see, some clear Ja Morant coming back, or at least in the process of coming back.
I promise we're going to talk about something other than injuries, but one more to discuss. Vince Williams left Monday's game against the Nuggets. It was a clear ankle injury. We haven't got an actual report or update on him yet, although clearly he didn't play in last night's game. Do we have a sense for how severe that is yet?
Yeah, we don't. I mean, Vince is, you got to remember, he was already having issues with the stress reaction in the left leg, and now he has the ankle issue in the right ankle. And it's one of those things where when both of your legs are bad, it's kind of hard. I'm sure he was, compensating for some things. And this was just one of those freak injuries. And when it comes to ankles around here, it could be 2 games, it could be 10 games, right? So it's just about how he's feeling and how, again, how did the other issue impact his ankle? Does he have the balance? Is he working about it the right way? So I don't have a clear understanding of where he is right now. I'm gonna give it another couple days and see when they come back from Chicago where it stands going into the Thanksgiving break. But yeah, this one is one that you kind of scratch your head and wonder, okay, how long can this be for him?
I like the way you described it as a freak injury, because when something like this happens, and I get it from the fan base, we've been through a lot. There's a little bit of PTSD going on. And so when you see Vince come back and then almost immediately go down again, people start to express frustration on social media. And I get it when it's soft tissue injuries or cramping. Cooper Flagg was cramping early in his career at Duke, and John Shire, very publicly, his coach, questioned his own training staff and said, we've got to do better for him. We can't keep sending him out there and having his body break down like this. I get those types of frustrations or complaints, but you've covered a lot of teams and been around this for a long time. We've all seen what happened to Vince on Monday night happen to other players before, and you can have an all-star training staff. There is nothing that you could do to prevent that from happening in a basketball game. It's just bad luck.
No, it is, and there's an element of that. Freaky things happen on the basketball court. You go back to the preseason. Ja Morant was, getting back in transition defense and had a ball, a half-court pass, bounce off the floor and hit him in the ankle. and he, rolled his ankle on that, right? There's nothing you can do as a training staff to prevent that from happening, right? Some of these things are just going to happen. And you classified it as PTSD. I'm almost willing to take the P off of it. Like post means you've gotten past something, right? It's just TSD, right? It's just traumatic stress. It seems like it's one thing after another, and you didn't even mention Zach Edey, right? So being a big guy who never got hurt at Purdue, is all of a sudden had 2 ankle issues, one in summer league and one now, that's taking him off the floor. So, those things tend to happen. It's just when you're going through it one after another, you just wonder, when can this team ever get whole? And Taylor Jenkins has talked about it. The locker room has talked about it. And it's devastating to them because mentally it's a hurdle. Will we ever get our full team ready to go for at least 2-3 games and see what we're really capable of? And they hadn't gotten there yet.
Like I told Bennett in the opening segment, until Desmond Bane ages out of stardom or is hampered by injuries, I am never going to worry about bad shooting games or even bad shooting stretches. Yeah. He's had them before. He always shoots out of them. He's a uniquely gifted shooter from beyond the arc. I wasn't bothered by his lack of efficient shooting in recent games, but it was nice last night to see him break out of a little bit. 5 of 11 from 3. He looked like something closer to his normal self, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, that was Desmond Bane right there. What you got last night against Philadelphia is what you're going to get from Desmond Bane. And not only the shooting, but the playmaking, too. I think he has 6-7 assists as well. I mean, when he's a playmaker like that, particularly when you're sort of limited at that point guard position with really only Scottie Pippen as your lead facilitator until John Morant gets back, he's going to need to diversify his game. And you saw that. My only concern with Dez was that oblique thing. He's such a downhill physical force torque type player when he plays. It's easy to throw something back off. And I knew he had to get his body back right for him. I know he had to get the conditioning up. But he was going to go out there and play one way. He doesn't know how to ease his way back. And it was good to see him get to that point where he knocked down some shots. He was aggressive. But he was also a great facilitator last night when his team needed it.
It is November 21st, and Jalen Wells, a second-round pick out of Washington State, has already started 11 games. I don't think anybody could have anticipated that, including Jalen Wells, who I'm sure had high hopes for his rookie season. Some of this is, injury-related. Other people having to miss games has provided opportunities that we didn't expect. But the interesting thing is he's performed. He doesn't look out of place. He looks very comfortable competing and playing real minutes for a Western Conference contender. How surprised are you, if at all, at what we've seen from Jalen Wells?
I'm surprised. His temperament surprises me, right? Like the fact that he can get out there and shoot and do his thing. He's been playing basketball pretty much all his life. So if you give a guy an opportunity to play basketball, typically, if they put the work in, they're going to get the results, man. And I'm seeing him get the results really, really early. He said that he expected to be a contributor in his rookie season. He just didn't know it was going to come this fast. And already through the first 12 games, I mean, he's seen LeBron James twice. He's seen Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's seen, obviously, Paul George and some of these guys. The thing that's keeping Jalen Wells in this lineup is his length and his willingness to defend. And he's willing to take on the top perimeter defender night in and night out already. I saw this same kind of dynamic. This is not too much different from, and I know he's a controversial figure and divisive when it comes to Grizzlies fans, but Dillon Brooks was this same way as a rookie. He got an early break early on because of injuries to some other guys. Chandler Parsons wasn't ready. I want to say Tony Allen may not have overlapped with Tony Allen, but at some point, Dillon Brooks was like, okay, all these other guys are hurt. He needs to get out there and get a shot. And he took it by the horns, man, and he led defensively. And I remember him having games against Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum out in Portland where he defended the final possession, and the Grizzlies got a win, and he just took off right there. This is kind of the same thing that Jalen Wells is doing, except he's doing it a lot more efficiently, offensively, and within the realm of the offense.
So we had forever been in search of a wing with size who could shoot. Use a top 10 pick on Zaire Williams. Use a top 20 pick on Jake LaRavia. Yeah. Is it possible the Grizzlies found their wing with size who can shoot, and they happen to do it in the second round of the 2024 NBA draft?
And the 2023 draft. Don't forget about, G.G. Jackson when he comes back as well, too, right? So in those two guys, I think you have what you need at the wing position at that 3 moving forward. And when G.G. gets back on the floor, and again, he's out of his walking boot. He's doing some light conditioning and stationary shooting and things of that nature. So he'll probably be reevaluated in another couple of weeks once we get into December. And then you have that guy coming back. In between those two, there's already a competition between the two to as they talk about things in practice. And Gigi was like, man, I got to get the hell up out this boot because this guy is coming in. I got to take my job back. So it's good to see that competitive banter between those two. And it's going to be good to see because they're both still young. One's a rookie. One is not even 20 yet. Or Gigi might just be turning 20. And that's your future right there at the small forward position moving forward.
Unfortunately, it's possible they'll all never be healthy at the same time, but it's also, there's a chance it could. And so now you've got Jalen Wells that looks like he needs to play. Gigi Jackson, who was phenomenal last season in his role. There's still Vince Williams. There's still Marcus Smart. We go from who's going to emerge on the wing to, Jake LaRavia is playing well. You got a lot of guys on the wing that are performing. It's a nice problem to have, but it could become a problem.
It could, and I can't wait for it to become a problem. I'm looking forward to that problem, GP. It's like, and I'm sure Taylor Jenkins is as well, too, but it's just like you can never get all of these guys together. And at some point, I'm hoping that's what I want for Christmas. I want the rotation to be set. That's the Christmas gift I want to give. Hopefully the Grizzlies can give me and all of these fans there. It's just for a stretch of games. Get all of these guys back. I know it won't, no team has a complete clean injury report, right? You're going to have guys dealing with something here and there. But for the most part, man, I just want to see all of these guys come December, late December. Everybody's available, and we can really see what this front line and this second unit can really look like.
Last thing before I get you out of here, wrapping up with Mike Wallace, Grind City Media. Everything is challenging when you're this shorthanded, missing your best player. But there is a 5-game stretch coming up that looks like you should be favored in more games than you're not. At Chicago on Saturday, then 4 straight at home, Portland, Detroit, New Orleans, Indiana. 9-7 right now. If you could turn this 5-game stretch into, I don't know, something like 13-8, that would be ideal. Sitting at 5 games above 500 through 18 games with all of these injuries, I think you'd take that if you're a Grizz fan. You definitely take that. The 2 games I would not take for granted, though, is Chicago, because the Grizzlies always struggle at Chicago in particular. And, Zach LaVine figures out a way to be, just Michael Jordan when it comes to the Grizzlies and when he matches up with them. And then on the other end, that Indiana game, that could get kind of tricky too, especially when they're used to their pace. The Grizzlies are still trying to get used to it. But those games in between there, you got to knock those out. So 3-2 at worst, 4-1 is more like ideal, and I think you're sitting in a good spot. That is Mike Wallace, Grind City Media. Make sure you're reading him, grindcitymedia.com. Follow him on Twitter, on X, at my mic check. That's at my mic check. You're the best, baby. I appreciate you being in studio. Thank you.
Hey, anytime, man. Safe travels up there, too.
I appreciate you. Mike Wallace, Grind City Media on X, at my mic check. We come back, turn our attention to college basketball. Penny Hardaway's Tigers, they're on the West Coast. They're playing inside the Chase Center tonight. The opponent is San Francisco. Get you ready for that next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Goldberg announces he's going to have a retirement match in 2025, and he said this on College Game Day.
We know you're trying to ride the coattails because the 2025 is supposed to be the year of John Cena. Goldberg, I have a message for you, my guy. We don't care about your retirement match. Your retirement match was 3 years ago. Go somewhere, go away.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Who will lead the Grizz in steals this season?
I'm going to go with Pippen for steals this season.
So I'm going to go with Jaren.
I'm going to go, as long as he's in the rotation, I'm going to go Jake LaRavia for total steals, and I'll have Marcus Smart in my back pocket for steals per game.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of every single thing, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's the website, orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Penny Hardaway's Tigers are returning to the court tonight. They're out in San Francisco. They're playing San Francisco. They're not doing it on campus. They're doing it in an NBA arena. They call it the Chase Center. And Big Bet Bennett, you sent it to me first thing this morning.
Oh, buddy.
Even though KenPom projects Penny Hardaway's Tigers to win the game tonight in San Francisco by a final score of 78-76, the odds makers, those scoundrels, have made San Francisco a 1.5-point favorite over Memphis. Say it with me. It's disrespectful.
It feels a little bit disrespectful, although it is like in San Francisco at an NBA arena. Like it's, they might get some home cooking. We'll see.
It's going to be, this is actually advantageous for Memphis because you could be playing in a 5,000 seat building on campus, and that might, fill up and create a real hostile home court advantage for San Francisco.
Yeah, that's true.
You take this game to the Chase Center, you put those same 5,000 people inside an NBA arena, you know what it looks like? It looks like an empty arena. Like, it looks like a Tubby Smith game.
That's very true. God, I don't miss that.
So Memphis will not be in a hostile environment tonight, but what Memphis will be doing is playing a quality basketball team. I know San Francisco doesn't register with your average college basketball fan the way, say, Purdue does or North Carolina does, but check this out. If you go to barttorvik.com right now and you eliminate all the preseason bias from the algorithm and just say, hey, let's go back to November 4th. That was the first day of this season. It was 3 Mondays ago. We're just going to run the data from everything that happened from that point through here. Do you know where San Francisco comes in the national rankings at barttorvik.com? 34th. 1 spot ahead of BYU, 2 spots ahead of Creighton, 3 spots ahead of Purdue, 4 spots ahead of North Carolina. Purdue and North Carolina are ranked in the top 10 of the AP poll right now, but according to barttorvik.com, if you remove preseason bias and just run all the numbers based on everything that's happened since the start of the season, San Francisco on a neutral court right now would be favored over North Carolina and Purdue. Now, they wouldn't actually be because the betting markets would not make it that way. But based on the data since November 4th through today, San Francisco is performing like a top 35 team in America, better than Purdue, better than North Carolina, according to barttorvik.com. That is the explanation for why the number has moved the way it moved.
I'm looking at like their comp. I mean, obviously I'm familiar with them just because of like they've had some battles with Gonzaga over the years. I don't think they've gotten the best of them very often, but like I've seen them, right? I did not realize that Oregon State and Washington State were part of this conference now, the West Coast Conference. I had no idea.
They're just playing as basketball members until they get the new Pac-12. So what's interesting about that, the Pac-12 falls apart, the WCC is like, hey, Oregon State, Washington State, we got a home for you, buddies. Hey, guys, come on over here. You can play with us. And, of course, they return the favor by stealing Gonzaga.
That's mean. I mean,
it's like inviting somebody to your home to spend the night because they don't have a place to stay, and then they steal your wife.
I'm going to tell you something. Again, I'm looking at this conference.
That happened to you?
No, it did not. It did not.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just again. I'm looking at this conference. I like it better than ours. I like it better than ours. West Coast Conference looks good. That's what I was saying. Like this team, they play in a league that they're not. It's not. They're not just playing against crap teams every year. So yeah, it's. I've had this one on the radar, GP.
It's so. Just keep everything I just said in mind tonight. If you're a Memphis fan watching the game, you're not playing North Carolina or Purdue or a big brand like that. You're not playing a team with a number beside its name. But what you are playing is a 4-0 basketball team that is 34th in the country, according to BartTorvik.com, when you remove all the preseason data. That makes them better than both Purdue and North Carolina. And, oh, by the way, also Memphis. At Bart Torvik, you remove the preseason data. Memphis is 43rd. Against San Francisco is 34th. So if the Tigers lose this game, and I ain't trying to make excuses at 10:45 in the morning, but if the Tigers lose this game, just understand it's not some humiliating loss that they can't overcome. I know San Francisco doesn't resonate like Arizona or Creighton or Dayton or some of these other bigger brands, but based on the computer numbers in this specific season, they're a comparable team to everybody I just named. So it should be a real challenge tonight, fun game. And if Memphis can get it, this is the type of thing that will probably hold up all the way through Selection Sunday as a Quadrant 1 victory.
Number 2.
Bad news out of San Francisco, even before Memphis tips off with San Francisco, and that's that it's now official. DeAnthony Melton, our old buddy, the former Grizzly, he's done for the year. ACL surgery.
That's tough for them. I mean, he was a starter. That's a big loss for the Warriors. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a team that tries to do something at the trade deadline. Yeah, man, I feel bad for DeAnthony too. Like I mean, listen, I know we hate the Warriors. That's a good spot for him. Like that's a really good spot for him. Yeah.
I mean, he had only appeared in 6 games so far this season because of he had a back issue, and then there was an ACL strain, and they did further testing on it, and it's a ACL tear enough to make it where surgery is the best option. But they signed him to a 1-year deal, mid-level. It was right around $12 million, and he was expected to be a big part of this as a guy who can impact winning on both sides of the ball. You mentioned a big spot. I don't know where Golden State's going exactly, but they're 11-3 through 14 games. So DeAnthony Melton was on track to be an important piece for a team that's in first place in the Western Conference standings, playing alongside one of the greatest basketball players who's ever lived, Steph Curry. And now that's just over. And given that it was a 1-year contract, that might be the extent of his time with Steph Curry and the Warriors. So it just sucks. I know it's hard for anybody in Memphis to feel bad for any other franchise dealing with injuries because we deal with them more than most, if not all. But still, I think Grizzlies fans, I know in my house, hold a special place for DeAnthony Melton. Like we liked him his time he was here. We just did a commercial on him within the past few weeks. So when I saw this news, I didn't like it. I don't mind the Warriors running into some injury issues. That could benefit the Grizzlies going forward. But I'd rather it be Draymond Green than DeAnthony Melton.
I'm sure you're not alone. No, and it's like, dude, you look at the West now, there's like a lot of these big, I mean, I just got the report this morning that Luka's going to miss an extended period of time, probably with a wrist injury. Obviously, you had Chet in Oklahoma City. The Pelicans are starting like a bunch of dudes no one's ever heard of right now. So there's a lot of injuries going through the West right now.
Yeah, so DeAnthony Melton, torn ACL, out for the year. I guess the first time we'll see him. The next time we'll see him again, hopefully, fingers crossed, be the beginning of the 2025-26 season for a franchise, TBD.
Number 3.
Jason Statham, through sources, has commented on Kristin Cavalari disclosing to the world that he is her hottest secret hookup. You familiar with this ongoing tabloid story, Big Bet Bennett?
This is the first I've heard of this.
Okay, well, let me leave it to me to catch you up. You know Kristin Cavalari, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I watched Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach. I think she had something to do with the Hills. She married Jay Cutler. They had some little Cutler kids. They went through a divorce. She started dating a younger guy. I think they split up, but they might have hooked up again. They were spotted together recently. I know way too much about her. I acknowledge that up front. Okay. So there's this social media thing. I think it's on TikTok, but it could be on something else I'm not familiar with. I'm 47 years old, for crying out loud. You can expect me to keep up with everything. I know more about Kristin Cavalari than most people my age.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That should be
You're doing good.
enough. So there's this TikTok thing or social media thing. And the way it goes is basically, let's say if I were doing it to you, I'd be filming you, Big Bet Bennett, with my iPhone. And it's something to do like you talk about in the suspect something. So it'd be, for you, I might do something like this. I'd be pointing the camera at you. My audience would be looking at you. And you wouldn't be saying nothing. And I would say, and the suspect has a beard that makes him look like a Capitol stormer. And you would go, oh, come on, GP. I ain't no Capitol stormer. And then the next one would be like, and the suspect, there's at least a 40% chance he's going to push the wrong button at any given time. And you'd be like, oh, GP, you know I'm working on those. And we laugh about it and whatever. That's what it is, okay? You got the sense of what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay, so a woman, I didn't mean to get too personal.
It's okay.
I was just trying to make you understand what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So somebody's pointing a camera at Kristin Cavalari, and they say, and the suspect makes all of her exes become alcoholics. And she's like, oh, ha, 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 because Jay Cutler just got a DUI the other day. You saw that, right?
Another one?
I mean, I don't know if it was another one, but it was
definitely.
I got you.
Yeah.
It was definitely one. So it was like, and the suspect, cameras on Kristin Cavalari, she's like jogging, trying to stay in shape. And she says, and the suspect makes all her exes turn into alcoholics. And they're like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And I don't know if that's really what you ought to be saying, because like Jay Cutler's still the father of her kids. I don't know if you want that out there on the internet.
Kind of yucky, yeah.
I don't know if I'd do it, but whatever. It's none of my business. Okay, then the next one was, and Jason Statham. So it was like, and the suspect's hottest hookup that she never told anybody about is Jason Statham. And she was like, oh my God. And then the video ends. So then the whole world's like, oh wow, Kristin Cavalari hooked up with Jason Statham once upon a time. We never knew this. I wonder what Jason Statham thinks, because now he's engaged, and like he's also like 20 years older than Kristin Cavalari. And I wonder if Jason Statham, I wonder what he thinks about Kristin Cavalari, like kissing and telling on the whole world on a TikTok trend. He's addressed it now through sources. What do you think Jason Statham said, Bennett?
He seems like a bit of a serious guy. I'm gonna say he said, I'm not going to comment on what happens behind closed doors.
According to a source, Jason Statham's stance on Kristin Cavalari, acknowledging to the world that he is her sexiest secret hookup, has not fazed him at all. It was a long time ago. They enjoyed their time together. They both moved on after that relationship to have relationships with the people that they ultimately married, and he has not really had much thought about it since then, period. He's not mad or upset. It's not an issue with his fiance. She is not concerned with any past relationships he might have had, nor is he about her. Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, it seems reasonable to me too. I like Jason Statham.
Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't? I know who else does. Kristin Cavalari. By the way, what would be the alternative response from Jason Statham? How awesome would it be? Could you even imagine? How awesome would it be to have Kristin Cavalari or somebody like her just randomly announce to the world, yeah, the hottest dude I ever hooked up with was actually Jason Statham, who is now 57 years old. I'm 47 years old. I can't imagine anybody saying that about me.
He's 57? Holy crap, dude. That's a great-looking 57-year-old.
It sounds like they might have did it when he was like, she
younger
was maybe
man.
Maybe she was 23 and he was 43, one of them type of deals, which is like, Whatever.
Bro, I cannot believe I can't believe Jason Statham is 57 years old. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, look, as far as I mean, I'm a ball guy, but I ain't that kind of ball guy.
Right. I know he is really holding the torch for the bald community.
He's holding the torch.
He's the torch bearer. Yeah. I think we can crown him that.
I mean, depending on the day, sometimes David Beckham will go bald and then he gets into the conversation.
Oh, no, he has transplants. He's never going bald.
He went bald before, though. I've seen David Beckham nearly bald.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not now. He's got the hair transplants.
Okay. Then let's give it to Jason Statham.
Yeah, it's Statham. He's carrying that torch.
Do you think anybody's ever described you as their sexiest secret hookup?
No, absolutely not. No.
I was thinking about this. There is a 0% chance anybody's ever described me that way.
Yeah, that's just not something I will ever achieve in life. So it's.
What do you think? What do you think it's like to have somebody just randomly like if they're just thinking to themselves, forget announcing it to the world on TikTok. Like just imagine there's somebody in this world thinking to themselves, the sexiest hookup I ever had that nobody knows about is Bennett Doyle. Can you imagine a woman out there thinking about that, or man, whichever?
I can't imagine it. I cannot imagine it.
I genuinely can't imagine that. Here's what I imagine. Here's what I imagine people think about when they think about me in that way. Here's what I imagine they think about. I've never had talked about it. Here's what I imagine. I imagine they go, yeah, I mean, I was drinking.
Yeah. He was nice. That's what they say about it. He was nice.
I was drinking. He made me laugh. I think that's the best I could get.
I think, yeah.
I was drinking. He was funny. He had a story.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the top 25 and one? Like it's.
I enjoyed the top 25 and one. He bought a steak.
Yeah.
I think that's the best I can get. And then there's Jason Statham out there. Like, there's people saying, "Oh yeah, Jason Statham, sexiest man I ever hooked up with," and she's hooked up with tons of sexy men. You see the young guy she's been hooking up with?
Yeah.
Young and sexy.
Yeah, she's doing well.
That's the waters Jason Statham is swimming in. All right?
Yeah.
He's competing against that young guy, Jay Cutler, and a bunch of people that look just like him. And still, Kristin Cavalari is like, Jason Statham, that's the one. What an amazing thing to hear about yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm happy for Jason, and I'm a supporter. I haven't seen a lot of his recent movies, but he's cool in my book.
He's cool in my book, too.
Yeah, he's cool in my book.
He's the coolest in my book. Congrats to him on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4.
Sources are indicating that Caitlin Clark is opting to pass on an opportunity to join a new 3-on-3 women's basketball league where she was presented with the opportunity to make more than $1 million per year. You're not surprised Caitlin Clark's passing on this, are you, Bennett?
No, not at all.
Like $1 million, that's a lot of money. But there's so much money out there for her. She doesn't need to do this.
Yeah, she can get that in endorsements.
She could get that doing, I think, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Money is never going to be an issue for Caitlin Clark. That's already clear. She will have all the money in the world someday. Like, she will retire someday as the wealthiest women's basketball player ever. Period. That's who she's going to be someday for a variety of reasons. So you don't need to cheapen yourself and or cheapen the WNBA by going and playing in this startup league. The only reason she would be doing it is clearly for money. And simply put, the money is not significant enough to make her jump. Like if they were saying, we give you $50 million, here's $50 million, we're going to drop it on your head. Like if they were approaching her like it's Live Golf, like, hey, John Rahm, you want $400 million? Well, that'll make anybody look for a second, right? I don't care how loyal you are or how much you don't want to be a part of something new. Somebody starts putting $400 million, $800 million, $900 million. That's what Live Golf was doing. They throw that money in front of you. You got to look at it. But $1 million for Caitlin Clark, that's not going to make her move, nor should it. So I'm not surprised she's passing. She will remain a primary member of the WNBA until somebody throws way more money at her than that, because she's going to have more money than she knows what to do with just as soon as she wants to capitalize on it.
Number 5.
LeBron James has announced that he is leaving social media for an indefinite period of time. He said he's tired of all the negativity. Bennett, we've lost our king. He's no longer going to tweet.
You know, I love our king. I do. I just get these kind of. I'm sick of this crap. I just am. I hate seeing.
Specific. What?
No, you don't have to say anything. Like there's so many people announcing that they're leaving social media or going somewhere else or all these grand statements and press releases and all that. I'm just like, no one really cares. Like you just like if you don't want to do it anymore, then like don't do it. You don't have to make an announcement. Again, I love LeBron, but like I'm just like every time I see, it's not just him. Like I've seen this a ton lately. And fine, I get it. Like, I understand, but it's like, okay, well, great. You didn't even have to say anything.
Right, buddy, just go away. It's fine. I love our king. You know how much I love our king. But, like, I'm with you. I don't need it. I see this all the time on Facebook. People love to announce they're leaving Facebook. Buddy, just leave. I don't care. I'm tired of seeing your stupid kids anyway.
Yeah, I'm so sick of seeing your stupid kids.
Your kids ain't that cute. Your kids ain't that cute.
Oh, man.
Congratulations on taking your kids to Kooky Canuck. I didn't need to see that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, listen. Obviously, this is specific to Twitter. It just is. It is. I mean, we don't have to lie to ourselves. It's specific to Twitter. And listen, we've talked about how wild it's gotten over there. It's gotten pretty wild. I mean, I've seen more people get murdered in the past 4 months of my life than I ever have hoped to see. But I still like scrolling and looking at stuff and things like I don't take it too seriously. I think that's the thing is like when you see like these I'm leaving, it's toxic, blah 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 blah. I just don't take it seriously enough to care. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's awful. It's so much bad information and bad stuff and negativity and just I think it's an awful place. But I'm not like leaving. Like there's also like tons of stuff on Twitter that I enjoy watching, that I enjoy seeing. Honestly, I don't mind the murder videos. I find them interesting sometimes. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but like I watch them. I never wanted to. I didn't ask for them. But you keep putting them in front of me. Like it's like one gang hit after another. I end up watching them more than I probably should. I know. But like,
there's some account that pops up in my feed all the time now that's called like unfathomable deaths of people. I'm like, Jesus, why do I need to see this? Why do you think I want to see this? I'll look at it.
And so, okay, here's where the chat gets stupid. This is where I got to correct people because they don't get the point. Somebody in the chat saying like, how is this city different or suggesting it's no different than me saying, hey, I'm on Blue Sky.
No, that's a difference.
Stupid. Of course it's different. Only dummies don't know it's different, Bennett.
Wait, hang on.
Chat,
that's just.
I like the chat. I like people in the chat. I could name some of them by name, but then there's some dummies in there too, and it gets it all sideways sometimes. I didn't announce I'm leaving anywhere. In fact, dummies, I got actually replies from people saying, "Oh, GP, you shouldn't leave Twitter." I never said I'm leaving Twitter. Not once. Never even suggested I am.
I'll never quit Twitter.
I just wanted to tell people, hey, I opened an account over at Blue Sky where a lot of people seem to be going. If you want to follow over there, feel free to. That's actually a helpful announcement. Hey, if you like me over here, I'm also going to be over there. But if I were just leaving Twitter, which I'm not, never said I wouldn't feel compelled to say I'm leaving Twitter or leaving Facebook. That's like when somebody I've never even heard of before, never interacted with before, will not like something I tweeted and then reply, all right, GP, that's enough. I'm unfollowing. Mother, I don't care who you're. Go. I don't even know who you are. I didn't even know you were here. We've all been at this party for a long time. I didn't even know you were at the party. You don't have to tell me you're leaving. That's what I'm talking about. Saying I'm on Blue Sky, totally different thing. I think most people understand it. If I explained it for just one person who doesn't, I apologize.
No, I just, these grand announcements, and I will, I do. created a Blue Sky account too, just because. And the reason being is because I suffer from FOMO. Like, it is just something that I deal with on a daily basis. And so when I see a bunch of people saying they're doing that, then I'm like, well, I better do it too. I will say, dude, I don't like this whole. It feels a little bit like taking your ball and going home. A little bit, in my opinion. Like,
okay, because I hear that, because that's what people have tried to, at least some, tried to suggest, oh, so the election's over, it went a certain way, now you're leaving Twitter. Again, I'm not leaving Twitter. It's just that it is true, literally millions of people are moving over to this new social media platform, including most of the people who cover the sport that I primarily cover.
Yeah.
So if everybody else is going to have an account over there, I probably should as well.
Right.
But I'm not losing my Twitter account or leaving Twitter to protest something. Like, but you ready? Some people actually are. And I don't mind that. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. Like, there are people, I think reasonable people in this world, who think Elon Musk is a misguided genius who has put his fingers on the weight of the political conversation in this country in a way that is not helpful. Whether that's true or not, I don't care. What I'm telling you is there are people who genuinely believe that, and they don't want to be on an app that he owns, and by extension, an app that if they're on it, they would be supporting him, right? I mean, I also own a Tesla. I'm not selling it.
Yeah, right.
It is true.
I rode in that Tesla. It was my first Tesla experience.
It's nice, isn't it, Bennett?
It feels like you're riding on air.
It's nice. Like, I'll be honest, if I were going to get a new car, if the wreck I had last year, I had it today, that forced me to go out and get a new car, which is why I went out and got a new car. If I had that wreck today, if I'm being honest, I might not go get a Tesla because I would be a little turned off by Elon Musk. But now that I already have one, I ain't getting rid of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm not protesting anything. I drive a Tesla. I'm staying on Twitter. But when millions of people are moving over to Blue Sky, I felt compelled to, hey, I'll be over here too sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, I think when you mentioned Elon, like, he obviously says things that I disagree with. But I also look at it as, so are we assuming that, like, he's very vocal, like he is very public and he posts a lot and things like that? Are we just going to sit here and assume that everybody that owns like one of the big social media apps is some just like amazing citizen? I don't think that. I think he's just very vocal.
He just seems he seems more complicated than I used to think he was.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
But I'm not. You ready? I'm not selling my Tesla. I'm not leaving Twitter. I'm not going to stop going to Chick-fil-A. Twitter has a lot of good information on it. Teslas are awesome, and spicy chicken sandwiches are amazing. I'm not out here trying to. I'm not out here trying to fix the world.
It's America, baby. Yeah, I like it.
I'll fight my fights other places. But no, I'm not leaving Twitter. But LeBron James said he is. That was the whole point of what we're doing. And I get it. It isn't like, if he just says, I don't like the negativity, I can't really argue with that because it is completely negative. And I can't imagine the negativity he sees relative to the negativity normal people see. Like, whatever negativity I deal with or you deal with, it ain't nothing compared to what LeBron James deals with. But here's the problem with that. I guarantee if somebody did a research product and what is the most negative stuff tweeted at LeBron James lately, you know what it's all about? Bronny.
Oh yeah, it is.
And you know why people are so
a good point.
over the top negative about his son is because of the way he has put his son in this position. The way he talked about his son when his son was in high school and in college. There were tweets coming from LeBron James saying, I'm sitting around watching the NBA tonight, and my son's already better than some of the people playing in this game. He was saying that while he was either in high school or at USC, but very young. Obviously, he wasn't a legitimately draftable prospect, but they got him picked by the Lakers. He's not a real NBA player, but they got him on a 4-year guaranteed NBA contract. He gets in the games, he can't do nothing. He goes to the G League, he's not performing. all of this negativity that LeBron is dealing with, or at least most of it, is connected to Bronny James, and it's only connected to Bronny James because LeBron spent years telling us his son was something his son clearly isn't, and people look at what his son's doing and saying, if that were my son or anybody else's son, they wouldn't even be given this chance, but because it's LeBron's son, he gets to wear a Lakers jersey and sit on the bench. So people are just understandably not aggravated, but just sort of unimpressed by the whole Bronny James story. And LeBron's having to deal with that on social media, and that's the root of all of this stuff that he's been dealing with, I'm certain.
That's a pretty good comment. Yeah, that's good.
My screen is not big enough for me to see that.
Oh,
so
okay. It's basically it's basically like a picture explaining like the fundamentals of basketball. He said, "Give this to Bronny before you go." It's pretty funny. That's a pretty funny comment. I gotta. That's the toxicity I enjoy on Twitter. It is.
There's another one I saw that made the rounds. I'm sure, and like LeBron James, like if you're on social media, there's no way to not see this. So I'm sure LeBron saw it the same way I did. It just gets retweeted and algorithmed into your timeline. But it's like somebody took a picture at the airport, like car rental place, and there's a young man working behind the counter at like Dollar Rent-A-Car, and he looks a lot like Bronny. And it's like I saw Bronny at the airport, and it's working at rent-a-car stand. So if LeBron James says the negativity is too much for him, I understand that, but a lot of this is self-inflicted stuff connected to the son that he told us was a legitimate NBA player, and so far at least has not proven to be. We'll be back. GP's carry-out.
I can't tell you how many people texted me and thought it was the funniest thing ever that you were sitting on the front row in your jersey.
No.
You were wearing a Tony Allen jersey on the front row. They're like, yo, tell him to check in.
That joke was smeedy. I told Tia, I said,
I didn't have a hoodie on, though. I mean, a sweater on.
I told Tia, you should have sized up on that joint, man.
Yo, shout out to Robin Hood, man.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's the top 5 worst teams in the NFL. I think the Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
I got the Saints number 1. Ha! Let's put the Aints up there. They're terrible.
I'll take the Titans as my worst team in the NFL. If they played Will Levis, they're for sure the worst team. Maybe in NFL history. Might be worse than the 0-16 Lions if they play Will Levis.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in New York City. Bennett Doyle back inside the Billboard Tough Studio, downtown Memphis. Bennett's got to get to respecting the workplace meeting in about 15 minutes.
I'm scared.
I've already gone.
You already went and did it? Like I'm so scared that they're gonna like put up an example and it's just gonna be like a clip from our show.
I went to the first session. I think it was last Monday. I learned pretty quickly we're not acting right.
We're not.
We haven't been acting right.
Like us? Oh, us specifically have not been acting right. I could have told you that.
Yeah, we gotta. I signed some paperwork, Bennett. We got to start acting better.
We do. I haven't signed anything yet.
Okay, well, be careful.
Yeah, I haven't signed anything yet. We still got a few minutes left in this show. Don't test me.
I signed away my rights. We got to start acting better, buddy. We
okay.
Have not, and I don't even know what they're going to do with Chris Vernon.
Oh yeah, he's in trouble. I actually think he's going to be in mine, so that's good. I'm actually I don't feel as nervous now.
Well, you make sure he pays attention, because if there's one thing I learned last Monday, it's that Chris Vernon probably needs to pay attention in this thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's get you there on time. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
As Nick points out in the Nick points out in the chat, just yesterday Vernon threatened to hump your shoulder.
That's true. That is not respect in the workplace.
I am pretty sure announcing that you might have sex with your coworker's shoulder is in violation of something.
You would think so. In fact, I'm gonna bring it up. Like if they do a Q&A portion of the thing, I'm gonna be like, hey, I hope Vernon's in this one. I really do. I'm gonna say, hey, let's go.
I just got done with this training. Leave me alone.
He's okay. Never mind. He's done his training. He's done his training. That scared the crap out of me. Did you see me jump?
Just yesterday. I want you today. They will have a place where you can ask questions, and I want you to raise your hand and say, I want you to say, I don't want to name names. Say, I don't want to name names. But just yesterday, one of my coworkers threatened to hump my shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Is that inside FedEx Forum?
Yes, in this very building.
Just yesterday, one of my coworkers threatened to hump my shoulder inside FedEx Forum. Is that okay? Ask that question.
Okay, I will.
All right.
What's
Bennett.
biggest game?
What's the biggest game?
I think it's Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
We're doing it on Prime Video. It's the Steelers and the Browns. Steelers are 8-2. Looking like Super Bowl contenders. I know everybody loves Buffalo and loves Kansas City. Mike Thomas is 8-2. The Browns are 2-8 because they hired a sexual predator, allegedly. That's what happens when you hire a sexual predator, allegedly. You start 2-8. So Pittsburgh's 3.5-point favorite tonight. Total's 36.5. Bennett, how are you going to act?
Okay, this is without question funny business. Steelers minus 3.5. They're 8-2, and the Browns suck. What am I missing here?
That little half
That's what I'm saying. It feels like because Steelers, Ravens, and I know that those are two really good teams in the AFC North, but that game was just defensive, field goals. Like, it was two offenses that were playing really well coming into that game, and it was like no offense. It was just field goals and defense, right? I feel like that might be what we're heading into tonight. And they say the weather's going to be really bad in Cleveland too. This is making me think to take the Browns.
Hey, listen, if you're asking me if there's funny business going on, there's certainly some funny business characteristics there. But here's all people know. Here's all your average American knows. Okay, one team's 8-2, the other one's 2-8. One team has Mike Tomlin. The other one team is the Steelers, for crying out loud. The other franchise is the Browns. What? And they hired a sexual predator? And he's hurt?
Huh.
And I only have to lay 3.5? That's what Americans are saying today. That's funny business characteristics.
It really is. I'm gonna say I'm going to take the Steelers. Stop. I mean, what are we talking about?
I understand, because if I were playing the game, I would want to play the Steelers, but that's because I bet with my heart, not my brain, because I like Mike Tomlin and I hate franchises that hire sexual predators. So I would be with the Steelers as well. But this has some funny business characteristics. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It really does. I can't take the Browns, though. I just can't. If it was
you'd rather lose with Mike Tomlin than win with a franchise that employs sexual predators allegedly. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying too, Bennett.
Yes. I'm going Steelers minus 3.5. I have to. I have to. Yeah.
We're saying the same thing. I have to too.
What are we watching on TV?
Could I interest you in Landman?
Landman?
Landman. You don't know about Landman?
No.
The first 2 episodes of Landman are streaming right now on Paramount Plus. And I know you're going, I don't care about Landman. I don't care about Paramount Plus. But what if I told you the stars were Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, and John Hamm?
I love all 3 of those people. I actually want to see Demi Moore's new movie, The Substance, which is supposed to be really great.
I know. Oh, I know you do.
I really want to see it.
I know. I know why.
Why?
Is that the new movie where it's her and Margaret Qualley?
Yes.
Oh, I know why.
Does she get naked in it? I don't even know.
Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, dude, Demi Moore was in striptease. Like,
everybody gets naked in it. I think everybody gets naked in it. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, I think everybody gets naked.
Okay, well, I want to see it for no pun intended. I want to see it for the substance. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I heard it's really good.
Demi Moore substance. I know what you're trying to look at.
No.
I know.
No, it's not true. See, now you're starting to toe the line again. I'll bring this up too. Let me go ahead and get it. Hey, Abigail, clip this for me so I can take it downstairs when I go to this meeting.
What if the whole meeting is just clips of me and Vernon?
It really might be, actually.
Okay, let me tell you what this is about.
Yeah, what's going on?
Deep in the heart of West Texas. Oh, man, I like West Texas. Roughnecks and wildcat billionaires try to get rich quick in the oil business as oil rigs dominate the state. Crisis executive Tommy Norris, played by Billy Bob Thornton, tries to bring his company to the top during the fueling boom.
Okay.
It's Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, and John Hamm. What else do you need to know?
It's a good cast. It's a good cast. I can't argue with that. By the way, I like Paramount Plus. There's good stuff on Paramount Plus.
There is good stuff on Paramount Plus.
A lot of good stuff.
I got a Paramount Plus. I got a Paramount email address. I don't ever check it, so you shouldn't send anything there to me. But I'm a Paramount employee, Bennett.
Yeah, I know you are. It's a solid streaming service.
I get direct deposits from Paramount, so I'm going to check out Landman. I'm going to be a good team player.
Okay.
And I'm going to check out Landman. I always watch the Marc Gasol videos because I'm a employee of the Memphis Grizzlies, and now I'm going to watch Landman because I'm an employee of Paramount. I'm trying to be a good team player, Bennett. I might not always act the right way and say the right things relative to respecting the workplace, but I'm trying to be a good teammate. And I'm going to watch Landman.
What's the best thing we've read?
Best is debatable. But Top 25 and 1 has updated this morning. I wrote about Rutgers because last night, for just the second time this year, they had their 2-star freshmen on the court together, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. 2 5-star freshmen. Like, really, the top 3 picks in the NBA draft could be, I'm not predicting it, could be Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey in some order. So 2 of the top 3 picks in the draft could come from Rutgers, which is not something you used to. Remember, Rutgers was in the American Athletic. Rutgers was a bad American Athletic Conference team.
Wow.
Like, not too long ago. And now they have 2 of the best 3 freshmen in the country. And Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. They were both terrific last night. Bailey is like a 6'10". Go find the Top 25 and 1. I put some of his highlights from last night in there. Looks like Kevin Durant. It's like you're watching Kevin Durant. 6'10" guard, dribble, spin, pull up, shoot over somebody. I'm not saying he's Kevin Durant. I'm saying it looks like it. So I went and looked this up because there's an ongoing debate within the sport about whether you can actually achieve real things of success being led by multiple freshmen in this era of college basketball, because if Rutgers is going to go to a Final Four, win a national championship, they're going to have to do it with their two best players being freshmen. Did you know, I won't even trivia time you, but the last time a team went to the Final Four and its two leading scorers were both freshmen?
It was Kentucky. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But further back than you think, 2014, 11 years ago, based on seasons, and that was Julius Randle and James Young were Kentucky's two leading scorers. They went to the Final Four, then lost to UConn in the national championship game. Since then, no team with its two leading scorers being freshmen have made it to the Final Four. Right now, Duke, two leading scorers are freshmen, Cooper Flagg, Con Knueppel, and at Rutgers, it's Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. You want to read more about the Rutgers Stars? You can find that at cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Friday. Jessica Benson will join me from the Bill Ford Tough studio. I'll still be here in New York. I'll chop it up with her. We'll get ready for a big weekend in college football. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Let's meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.